All as well. I am going to do a mock draft for all the eliminated teams in the playoffs. Only first round. Only, well, you know what? Let's do a treat. Let's go ahead and go all 3 rounds because they're going to let us do it. Let's go 3 rounds for them. Then on top of that, like I said, we're going to do all of the teams that were eliminated. So that's all 18. Okay, we're going to dive in. Got to start on the draft. Let's go ahead and let's roll with it. Start Drizzav. All right. First things first, I'm going to explain to you why. Obviously, they said that Chicago needs a quarterback, receiver, center, D-line, corner. All right. I'm not going to lie to you. This is just a mock draft, so it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and just tell the elephant in the room. Go ahead and get Caleb Williams. We're done here. Next thing, Commanders. They're at number 2 right now. People say they should get a quarterback. I'm a firm believer. They have enough receivers, honestly, to tell you the truth. I think they go Joe Alt. Why? Protect Sam Howell. Please protect Sam Howell. Go ahead and get Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. Done with it. New England. This is where I start to have fun with this draft. I don't like Drake May. I'm not in love with Drake May. But I'm also afraid to go get Jaden Daniels too as well. But I have a quarterback in mind. Now, don't laugh. And I'm going to explain why. Just going to explain it. I really like Bo Nix going to New England. Here's the reason why I like Bo Nix going to New England. Number one, Bo Nix played at Auburn most of his career. There were no good skill players at Auburn. There was no one around him, yet he still managed to have a decent record in the SEC, and also go toe-to-toe with Bama a few times. When I say this with the utmost respect. It's crazy to think that we would take Drake May, who has struggled in the ACC, which is not a good football conference. It's crazy to think that if we take Jaden Daniels, I get that. Jaden Daniels is an exceptional player. I actually like Jaden Daniels. But I've seen Bo Nix consistently put up the numbers, consistently make it happen. Going to Oregon, playing around talent. Now you're going to say, well, what about New England? They don't have no talent. We're going to address that in this draft. But as of right now, go ahead and get the head for your sources. I think Bo Nix is a great pick. I know that people are going to be like, whoa, bro, that's crazy. I get it. I understand. But Bo Nix fits the description of a quarterback, plays good ball, he's not afraid, takes risks, can run, mobile. He's kind of a quarterback that you want for today's game. And I know you're going to say, Jaden Daniels can do the same thing too. Jaden Daniels can do the same thing too. I get that. But Jaden Daniels has not been around a lesser talented team. And you're going to say, what about the Arizona State team? Arizona State wasn't bad. They weren't horrible. It's just, bro, the Pac-12, they're right now, they're running it when it comes to freaking skill players. They have so many up there in the Pac-12. You know what I mean? Romeo Odunze, Jordan Addison switches from Pitt to come over there. It's so many receivers coming out. As I said, only like 2, but it's quite a bit of exceptional receivers coming out of the Pac-12 right now. So it's easy for these quarterbacks to go ahead and dump it off. And then on top of that, let's be realistic here. Jaden Daniels played with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thompson Jr. Dude, 2 dog receivers in dog receivers. All right? Enough said with that. Add me in the comments. Number 3. Oh, no, is this number 4? Yeah, number 4 overall. Give me Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals. Ain't no way around it. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Next up, San Diego Chargers. Please protect my boy. Please protect my boy. You're gonna need it. Go ahead and get Fashanu out of Penn State. There we go. New York. I like the way Tommy DeVito ended the season. Get rid of freaking Daniel Jones. Burn him. Out of here. Mobster. Get him out of there immediately. And I'm going to tell you right now, this pick is going to be way sexier than you think. And I love it. And, well, to be honest with you, they need Evan Neal's not really panned out the way he's supposed to pan out. But I really think that Funga out of Oregon State is going to be another great staple tackle, and it's going to help them out, especially with Barkley running the ball and stuff like that. So yes, the Giants go offensive line. Tennessee Titans, they have what they need. Now you're going to say they have a bad offensive line. A lot of offensive linemen are already off the board. I get that. But check this out though. I also get the fact that Tennessee also needs skill players. I also get the fact that Tennessee needs more than just defense. They need offensive line and defense. So I think preferably, this is just me speaking, as I look across the board and what's left on there, I think that right out the gate, go ahead and get C.J. Latham out of Alabama to protect, of course, Will Levis. And we'll talk about that as we dive in a little bit more. All right, now. At number 8, no questions asked. We talked about him earlier, and I said I'd take Bo Nix over him because I've seen Bo Nix play with less talent. Jaden Daniels, on the other hand, go ahead and bring him to Atlanta. Bring JD to Atlanta. It's no way around it. You couldn't name it, shape it, form it better any other way. Because Jaden Daniels is the perfect fit for the Atlanta Falcons. Kyle Pitts, if he stays. Okay, if he doesn't, cool. Algier, Bijan, Drake London. And they gonna go draft another player on top of that. I'm telling you, baby, it's smooth as cream cheese on a bagel. That's just a perfect fit. Plug and play. I would be surprised if they win the division. I'd even go see some games. I live in Atlanta, but I'm not a Falcons fan. I'm not a Falcons fan. Straight Texans. We're gonna win it all this year. Bears back on the clock. Bears back on the clock, and they took Caleb Williams. Let's go ahead and pair him up with somebody like a Malik Neighbors. Go ahead and get that straight out the gate. Then, of course, we've got the New York Jets, who are a joke to me, but that's nor here nor there. They definitely need to go offensive line. Definitely offensive line. And right now on the big board, they've got Mims, and then on top of that, they've got Morgan. I think Mims is a little bit more of an aggressive player than Morgan is. He sees more good edge rushers in and out. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Amarius Mims out of Georgia, going to the New York Jets. Then, of course, Minnesota. Now, Minnesota is also a perfect fit for a quarterback too. Now, check this out. I'm going to throw everybody a loop on this one. And here's the reason why I say this. Just hear me out. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and now Brock Bowers. Just hear me out on that. Brock Bowers, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, your running back room, you go get another, you snag a running back free agency, you snag another running back. But when you think about that, over the top, route runner, and then blocker / person that can catch and be your safety blanket. Why not? Minnesota, grab Brock Bowers. We done with it. That's just a perfect fit. Broncos, yes. Time to draft a replacement. Go ahead, Drake May, right here. 100%. I hate to say it. 100% Drake May. Sean Payton gets his guy. End the discussion. No more talking about it. Done. Raiders, got to get a quarterback immediately. I would have loved for them to have JD on their roster, but I think they go get a big name guy. Big dude out of Washington, Michael Penix Jr. No questions asked. I like Michael Penix going to the Raiders. I understand the injury history. I understand how everything works. I get it. Yes, blah, 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 blah is all I hear right now because, quite frankly, they just need somebody to launch that song gun, and he gonna do it. Next up is, of course, the good old New Orleans Saints. And right now, they do need help on offensive line. But I think they just go ahead and draft Cam Jordan's replacement with Dallas Turner, who's still on the board. And I'm about to do a huge run of edge rushers. But before I do that, number one overall, Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs, Mo Alley Cox, Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson, and now insert Romeo Odunze at receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. Tell me right now that is not a hell of a roster when it comes to the offense. And don't even get me started because we're going to rebuild their defense too in this draft. We have to address that. But with that being said, we got them on the board, Seattle. And they need to take care of what they need to take care of. Obviously, edge rusher, Jared Verse. I told you, edge rusher is going to be coming off the board. Another edge rusher right here, too, for Jacksonville. Definitely. Latu, straight up. Cincinnati also needs an edge rusher, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go the interior here and they go ahead and get my boy, Mr. Newton, out of Illinois. And we're going to let it go ahead and bypass. And next up is Arizona. And earlier we picked for Arizona. We picked Marvin Harrison Jr., which is cool. I'm a firm believer that I think I think it's best that they go ahead and they grab, of course, another edge rusher. I'm torn between Chris Broswell and, of course, Braylon Trice. It's kind of one of those up in the air. What style are you looking for? I think that Broswell's played against more better competition than, Trice. Trice didn't really show up too much in the Michigan game. That's just me. I think as the season goes on, obviously the kids are playing 15 games now in the college football playoffs, which is more film, more time to study, more adjustments. Same thing with the NFL. They've got time, they've got adjustments on you. Chris Broswell showed up in the Michigan game. He showed up in the Georgia game. Just showed up when he needed to, and he's kind of got his way inducted into this first round. And I'm really liking Chris Broswell a little bit more than Trice. That's just me. All right. And we're going to let it auto-generate. And, of course, back on the board is the New England Patriots. This is the second round. What I think preferably they need is to help John Matthews. I think he's still on the roster if I'm not mistaken. I believe he is at edge rusher. Let's see here. He should still be there. Yep. Matt Judon. So let's go ahead and help Matt Judon out on the other side of the ball and get that boy JT to I ain't even going to try. Just JT. They're going to go get JT. Go get JT. Next up again is Arizona. And, of course, they've been rebuilding they're rebuilding their edge rushers. So I'm going to go ahead and get Leonard Taylor, the third out of Miami. Another big body to stop the run. Yes, we'll dive into that a little bit more later. Next up, so for Washington, we went offensive line, I believe. Yeah, we went and got Joe Alt at number 2, which is cool. And I think, again, don't laugh at me when I say this, but I really am a firm believer they need to address edge rusher, and we can get to that in a second. But if Graham Barton is still on the board, I am okay with drafting 2 tackles. I am okay with that. Now, a lot of people aren't okay with that, but I am perfectly fine with drafting 2 tackles because now Sam Howell has protection on both sides. And, of course, on top of that, hey, we could switch them inside if we want to play guard, switch people a couple out. I like Graham Barton at tackle right here at pick number 2, 4th round. Why not? You just build that offensive line up. Next up is the Chargers. Okay, you whiffed on, of course, getting, Quentin Johnston last year. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, we need another receiver. No, you don't need a receiver. You need an edge rusher because ain't no telling when Joey Bosa is going to go out for the season. So go ahead and get my boy Jonah Ulysses out of freaking Utah right now. Go ahead and get him as an edge rusher. Perfect player. Now, I like Keon Coleman a lot more than Walker because Walker kind of came in, the league suspended, the NCAA suspended him. I get that, but I'm a firm believer that you go and get Keon Coleman, and if you want to look, you can look at other receivers as well. I like Xavier Leggett. I like Chop Robinson, but that's for another day. I'm really liking a couple of them right now at receiver, and I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to roll with, of course, Keon Coleman, just for the simple fact, size, length, pause. Yeah, it is a really good receiver. All right, so with the Giants, we went on ahead and we believe that Tommy DeVito is going to be our QB. So we went on ahead and we protected him, right, with an offensive line. I think now we go and get him some weapons, and why not? You've got Deebo Samuels on the West Coast, and now you got Xavier Leggett on the East Coast. 2 profounded wide receivers that can catch out the backfield, can do jet sweeps, can get physical. And this is what I really, really like about, Xavier Leggett out of South Carolina. I think this is a good fit. He won't come on right away. I think this is a player that goes throughout the season. And right now, to be honest with you, that receiving room for the Giants is not strong at all. Hodges, Hyatt, I get that they went and got one in the second round last year. They had to finally get their quarterback play right. And they finally did what they needed to do. Evan Neal's going to be on the other side. Of course, Fashanu's going to be, not Fashanu. I'm sorry, the boy out of Oregon State. I can't think of his name right now. He's going to be on the other side. And I'm putting it all together right now. I see what's going on with the Giants. And then we'll just go ahead and address the defense later. But as of right now, Xavier Leggett is the guy they're going to go get. Washington Commanders. Now, granted, Washington has already taken 2 offensive linemen off the board. So therefore, they're pretty much done. And like I said, they really need to dive in for defense. I think it's best defensively all around. And I think Chop Robinson is still on the board. Yes, he is. So let's go get some Chop Robinson right there. You already know what time it is. Next up is Minnesota. In Minnesota, we went with Michael Penix, right? Did we go with Michael Penix for Minnesota? I need to write these picks down to tell you the truth. Minnesota, we got Brock Bowers. I'm sorry, we didn't go with Michael Penix. So we got Brock Bowers. With that being said, running back room, you can look at it. Oh, I don't think Jonathan Brooks is coming out. And Blake Corum is too high. Trey Benson is too high. No. But I'm really looking here. I'm trying to see what I think. I'm trying to think here, man. So many good players coming out. Defensively is where they're really hurting at. I'm going to go ahead. I think I'm just going to seal it. I like Kalen King right here. If I had to pick out of these players, I like Kalen King a lot. I'm liking Kalen King a lot. So I'm going to roll. And then, TJ Tampa as well. I'm going to roll with Kalen King because he's aggressive. Played at Penn State. Didn't do a horrible job against Marvin Harrison Jr., but they didn't put up a lot of points though. So why not go ahead and draft a secondary player? Now, for Atlanta, we drafted the quarterback. Let's go ahead and let's get real cute. They need to get edge rushers. Straight up defense interior. I like Chris Jenkins, though. I like Chris Jenkins a lot. I like Patrick Paul a lot. I like Jalen Polk. Man, I like who? Well, Denzel Burke has really proved a lot in the past month. He's really grown on me. Denzel Burke has really grown on me. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take Denzel Burke just for the simple fact is I like to see what's going to happen next. Obviously, for the Raiders, obviously, they took Michael Penix. So right now, you're going to have to play with what we call house money, and this is where they start to reconstruct and build their defense. I think out the gate, go ahead and get a safety. Straight up, out the gate, get the safety, take care of him. Out of Minnesota, good dude. And New Orleans, they took Dallas Turner. They say they need a QB. I don't see how they could use one because the quarterbacks that's on the board, I think a lot of these guys ain't coming out anyways, but I don't think they need a QB. Like I said, they went and got D-line. They took Dallas Turner. I think now they go ahead and get their tackle out of Yale. Why not? It's fine by me. And then, of course, we had got Romeo Odunze for the Colts, if I'm not mistaken, right? Which is great, right? Then on top of that, they can go ahead and spruce it up. They've got Quentin Nelson. Till he retires, I don't see how he would lose. But interior right here, I love Chris Jenkins going to them, helping out with DeForest Buckner. I really like him a lot. Next up is the Giants. So the Giants have been picking a lot lately, right? And obviously the first pick for the Giants was tackle. The next pick for the Giants obviously was, where did I go with the Giants? Xavier Leggett at receiver. So now let's go ahead and let's kind of keep it still on the offensive side of the ball. No. I think we draft Saquon's backup in the next round. With that being said, we really can go Patrick Paul, another tackle. You could do that. That wouldn't be bad. You can go Jackson Powers Johnson too as well at center. You can go, they've done really well at edge rusher. I like Mingo too out of LSU. I'm getting pretty high up there. But I think, I like a lot of these players, man. I like a lot. I don't actually know which direction to take. They do need a DB, yes. I think I'm going to roll probably with defensive interior and not Byron Murphy. Is that? No, I'm not going Byron Murphy now. I'm going to probably go Brandon Dortz, maybe. Maybe him. Yeah, maybe him, more than likely. Let me see. Who's all the defensive interior on the board? I like Mingo a lot. I like Sweat too. But they play so well together, Murphy and Sweat. You know what I mean? Like Frisk as well. I'm gonna take Wingo because I really like Wingo. I really like the way he plays. Jacksonville obviously is a joke because they lost 4 of their last like 5, and they went with edge rusher. I think they just keep rebuilding their defense, to be honest with you. And go ahead and get TJ Tampa right here. Boom. Straight up. Bengals, they went edge rusher. I mean, they went defensive interior, which is what they really need. I think they also pretty much can go tackle, is what they're saying. I like Patrick Paul, Taylor Guyton. Taylor Guyton is really, he might go in the first round, to be honest with you. He really might go in the first round. I kind of would love to see that. I actually will take Taylor Guyton right here, which is going to be a good fit. They need to protect Joe Burrow as much as they can. All right, third round, looks like we got Arizona on the board. And Arizona, let me see here. What have they done periodically at Arizona? Arizona, we got Chris Broswell, edge rusher. Then we went and got Marvin Harrison Jr. So they got 2 skill players right away. Then they went and rebuilt their D-line pretty much. So now pretty much on short, I really like, you're going to see a lot more running backs come off the board too here with the picks that I got going on next. But as of right now, I think they just keep building on that defensive side of the ball. They got a lot of picks remaining. God dang. We're gonna take Jermaine Trotter at linebacker. Boom. He's about 6 foot, I think. Then of course, Washington Commanders. How have they drafted? How have they fared? We got Chop Robinson, 2 tackles, right? So I think, well, that's crazy because they really, yeah, it's quite a bit of guys. I like players with grit. And I think, well, I'm be honest with you. I like players with grit, but I also like the idea that you could really have a project type player. And at his height and his size, he's really, really good at his position. And you could kind of form them into a hybrid tight end. And that's Johnny Wilson. He's freaking like, I think he's like, what, 6'7". So Johnny Wilson would be a great fit for them as Logan Thomas' exit, but he's more of a hybrid. He'd be in the middle. I would have him inside lined up, especially now in the NFL with these thin ass, excuse me, my friends, I'm sorry, these more thinner type defensive players. I like the fact that Johnny Wilson could just play basketball with them, just go up, snag it, jump ball nonstop. All right, so now New England's on the board. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. So for New England, I said we're going to take Bo Nix. Great, right? And then again, we went edge rusher. Now we get him some help. We get him some skill players. I really like, well, first things first, let's open this up here. I like Roman Wilson. I do. He's been well. I like Jamari Thrash. I love me some Jamari Thrash. I like that. Trey Harris too as well. Nia Mitchell, Braden Rice. Braden Rice, let me see. First look. How was he? 6'3", 210? Yeah, why not? Braden Rice, right there. Boom. Take care of business. Next up is the Chargers. Well, Chargers have so much going on, dude. Luckily, we got an O-line for them. Took care of business with that. Then on top of that, the next was edge rusher. I think they go defense again. Go ahead and give me Trip Sweat out of Texas. Easy pick. Next up is the Giants. And the Giants, they've actually, to me, I think the Giants have a really good draft, man. They got Wingo at defensive end, D-line. Leggett at receiver. And then I went tackle, I believe, right, with the Giants. Tackle. So they've addressed what they've needed there. I do believe they need to go another defensive player. But I also said they're going to draft their replacement at running back. And if I'm not mistaken, he should be there. I don't think Trevor Hendrick's coming out. If a lot of these players, I don't know if they're coming out 100%. I would like to know. I like Estime a lot. That's a big boy. He's like, what? Big boy, 227. That boy just a truck. That's what he is. Donovan Edwards, not so much. Trey Benson, I like him too. I really like that. But I like the hard nose, the grit. So I'm going to take Blake Corum right quick because I think that he's got a lot of heart and he can just ball out. Like every play is going hard. With that being said, on top of that too, we've gone defense with them with the Arizona Cardinals. So we've got Marvin Harrison, Chris Braswell. Then again, we went Leonard Taylor. Then in the first round, we went linebacker. So, of course, we've obviously gone 3 defensive players, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, we've gone three defensive players for Arizona. So let's go ahead and just keep that ball rolling. They just need help all around, obviously. Go ahead, and we're probably going to take. We really need to take. They really need defensive interior, and they need a corner. So that's probably going to be the next two picks, obviously. They probably need that. But so we'll take James now to see how he fares on the board. And obviously with the Jets, man, I don't know, man. The Jets are so trash sometimes. Marius Mims, and they don't have another. They didn't have another pick. Wait, the Jets didn't have another pick. Wow, they only got They ain't got no picks, man. The Jets ain't got no picks. Who did I have them get? Who did they draft? Who did I draft for them? Amarius Mims. So they need, immediately. Yeah, they need, yeah. Well, luckily at receiver, though, they've actually got some talented receivers still out there. They've got some. I like Troy Horton too. He's actually pretty good. Jamari Thrash would be a good one. McMillan, Ricky Purcell. Oh, well, I'm torn between. Cause I think they got Garrett Wilson, right? So let's see here. I really like Jamari Thrash. He's like 6'1", right? 6'1", I think. 6'1", yeah, 185. And then you've got Ricky Parcell. He's about 6 foot, right? 6'1", too, as well. So they're the same player. Same player, same style. I'm going to take Ricky Parcell for the Jets. Ricky Parcell. I like that. All right, Atlanta. They went defense. And then, of course, they went and they got the blockbuster guy, Jaden Daniels, in the first round. And then on top of that, they are going to be in the third round. So, let's see here. I think they need a QB. I already addressed it. So I think they go get a receiver. Now, this is where I think they get cute at receiver. I like Roman Wilson. I like Jamari Thrash. I like neither one of those guys at the bottom. I'm probably going to, no, not Horton. No, Jamari Thrash. Jamari Thrash goes to Atlanta. He stays there, and he goes back to the home state. Obviously, he played at Georgia Southern, I believe is what it was, or Georgia State. That's what it was, Georgia State. He played there. Bears, on the other hand, Bears are back on the clock, and the Bears have picked not really quite a bit. They got Caleb Williams and Malik Neighbors. And that's all they really had. Now they're at 75. Their offensive line is pretty to me sometimes. I think you could go get another receiver. Nah. Don't want another receiver. Nah. I think it's best. Yeah, D interior. Braden Fisk. They got to go D interior. They got to help out Montez Sweat. Broncos, on the other hand, I think they went and got their guy. The Broncos landed Drake May. Drake May at 12. I think that's the only pick that I've seen the Broncos have. Yeah, dang, a lot of these teams don't even have their picks. That's crazy. Yeah, well, Atlanta, their pick there, and knowing Sean Payton, he's probably going to get another receiver because he's probably going to let whatchamacallit go. So why not get McMillan? Raiders, on the other hand, I think the Raiders have actually had a pretty good draft. Safety. Then they went and got Michael Penix. Ooh. Now they're on the clock. All right. See their picks. They only got 3. So, okay, cool. I think they go ahead and they just get this tackle right here. Get the tackle straight up. This one, I think I went edge rusher, if I'm not mistaken, right? Edge rusher is where I went with Seattle. I'm not mistaken, right? I think I went edge rusher with Seattle. Jared Verse, what they really need. They're about to have back-to-back picks. So with that being said, they went edge rusher. Centers, let me see. They need center and guard, huh? Let's see the size. See how he looks. 6'2", 3. He'll sit on you. See his size, 6'3", 3'2". Not really familiar with those players right there. I'm not gonna lie. But if they need that, that's what they need. Best player on the board, give me Christian Haynes, straight up. Not familiar with those two players. All right. I think I've gone defense with them twice, if I'm not mistaken. For the Jaguars, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Once there, and then of course in the first round I went edge rusher, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Edge rusher, and I went defense corner. Yep. I just really want to build their defense up, man. I really do want to build their defense up. They need a center too, it looks like. But before that even goes, I really think they can go get a center in the free agency. That team, I really like. I'm really liking this Peyton Wilson kid. He's 6'4". Yeah, Peyton Wilson all day, every day. Give me that. Give me that. You need to draft a replacement for T. Higgins. Here, I think Rome Wilson's what, 6 foot? Nah, he's not tall. He's not as tall. So you need a taller receiver here. I like Trey Harris, 6'2". What about Malik Washington? Malik Washington? No. You're starting to get into that range where it's a little too out of touch. Well, Horton's not bad either. He's 6'2" as well. Actually, I don't mind getting Horton. I don't mind getting Horton here. He's a good one. He could be a number one receiver if need be. Seattle again on the board. I'm gonna probably go safety here. Definitely. Colts, they've probably had the best draft out of everybody, to be honest with you. Just for me picking for them, best draft. Christian, of course, I'm gonna take him. And then Arizona, last pick, pretty much in the entire draft, I think should be. They are probably going to go the interior again, Tariq Williams. And that should be it as we pan out. Oh, wait, we got one more. Okay. So many good players, man. So many good players still on the board. I'm going to actually take this guy, Skendrick. And then Commanders, they're going to need a running back. Definitely need a running back. Because not going straight to receiver. They're going to need a running back, definitely. I don't think Trayvon Henderson's coming out, man. Well, he should be. He's senior, right? Class, junior. And Braylon Allen, nice. He's junior too. Actually, I'll take Braylon Allen. Well, they both got injury history. I like Ray Davis too, man. Out of Kentucky. Shipley, not so much. He be getting caught. He be getting caught in space. I'm taking Braylon Allen, and that should be it. They're grading my draft. They're grading my draft. Well, that's it, guys. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Get at me. Peace.